Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality coming back with you today with an article from the Daily Signal dated February 13th by Dennis Prager. And I mentioned that specifically because you should definitely listen to what Dennis Prager has to say. He's a very intelligent man. And this article is called The Left and Chaos. So here's some of our favorite left-wing people doing their thing. So let's go into the article right off the bat here. And that was a Black Lives Matter protest, as it says. It says, it is impossible to understand what is happening to America and to the rest of the West without understanding the most dynamic ideology of the last 100 years, leftism. We need to begin with the understanding that leftism, or progressivism, and liberalism are not only not the same ideologies, they are in fact opposed to each other on virtually every major issue. And I've been saying for a while now, I don't necessarily think in any of these videos, but to other people, like that leftism and liberalism are not the same at all. So let's see what Mr. Prager has to say. Not cutting that cough out. It says leftism and liberalism have only two things in common. One is a belief in big government, which, given that individual and societal liberty decline as the state grows, is a significant similarity. It says the other left liberal commonality is antipathy to the right. This is even more important than commitment to big government because it explains why liberals vote for the left, despite the fact that liberals differ with far more left-wing positions than with conservative positions. Unlike the left, most liberals love their country. Unlike the left, most liberals do not believe that there are more than two sexes or genders, that prepubescent boys and girls who claim they are members of the other sex should be given hormone blockers, that girls under 21 should be allowed to have their breasts surgically removed, or that men who say they are women should be allowed to compete in women's sports. So, two, liberals do not believe that capitalism is evil, that America is systematically racist, that all whites are racist, that Israel is the villain of the Middle East, and that Zionism is racist. So then, given those leftist positions are as destructive as they are absurd, how are we to explain leftism? The question has preoccupied me, that's Dennis Prager, all his adult life. It is why it was one of fewer than 10 graduate students in all of Columbia University to major in what was called communist affairs. Wow, really only 10 people. Interesting. So, and he says that he was a fellow at the Russian Institute at Columbia School of International Affairs. So he says, in other words, he studied the left all his life. Early on, he recognized that the left opposes liberty, the clearest example being that wherever the left gains power, whether at a university or in society as a whole, it suppresses free speech and that it destroys everything it touches. But while Dennis and many others have always understood that the left, again, not liberalism, has always everywhere been a force for evil, you needed to understand why. How can people believe that men give birth, that a country to which more than 4 million black people have emigrated and which twice elected a black president is systematically racist, that the freest country in the Middle East, one in which millions of Arabs live as equal citizens, is the villain, while its barbaric enemies are worthy of support? And says, here are some answers. Throughout their history, Americans have had three great providers of meaning: family, religion, and patriotism. Leftists lack the latter two, which would be religion and patriotism. Indeed, they seek to get rid of them. Just see what's going on in society right now. That is true. And increasing numbers of them lack the first. That is correct as well. As human beings cannot live without meaning, is as great a need as food and even greater than sex, they seek meaning elsewhere. So they create new meanings through creating secular religions: socialism, communism, feminism, environmentalism, DEI, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion, anti-racism, anti-Zionism, LGBTQIA plus pride, and transactivism, among others. All of these are united by one overarching claim: destroying the institutions of Western civilization, such as religion, art, music, the nuclear family, moral norms, schools and universities, free speech, capitalism, even medicine. Those of us who appreciate Western civilization and wish to preserve it, while of course correcting its flaws, cannot understand why anyone would want to destroy it. That is a major reason it is so difficult for non-leftists to understand the left. And after decades of mulling this over, I think I have discovered one answer that is not obvious even to all leftists. What opened my eyes, Dennis Prager's that is, are the left's beliefs that men can become women and women can become men. Men give birth, and there are more than two genders and sexes. Men who say they are women should be placed in women's prisons, women's colleges, and women's shelters. Men who say they are women should be allowed to compete in women's sports, and children should be taken to drag queen shows. All these positions represent chaos. The left's transpositions are the most obvious areas of left-induced chaos, but there are many others. These include the left's contempt for the ideal of the nuclear family, i.e. a married mother and father and children, its support for defunding police, its raising the dollar value of stolen goods that qualifies as a felony, which can only incentivize theft, and its support for progressive district attorneys. It says fighting crime represents order, crime represents chaos. And why does leftism seek chaos? Because the left hates the opposite of chaos, order. And order ultimately represents a religious view of life. Order represents divine order. The proof is that no religious people say men give birth. Not all secular people believe men give birth. There are more than two sexes. Men can compete in women's sports. Children should be exposed to drag queen shows, or children should be given hormone blockers if they claim to be a member of the other sex. But only secular people believe those things. Virtually no one who believes in the Bible and the God of the Bible believes them. We believe in a God-created social order. Chaos is the normal state of the world. The second verse of the Bible states that the world was in a chaotic state. God then made order, which is why the left is undoing it. I think that's excellently said. So yeah, I mean, if you're someone who's trying to understand why the left is, specifically speaking of like progressives, or as it says down here, all the isms. I'm trying to find that spot. Here it is. All the isms, like specifically these. Well, really these first three here, but it's all this part of the same thing. Well, there you go. I mean, this is what you need to know. This is what these people do. This is why they don't like things. But let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.